A stranger yanked my taxi door open, so I changed my destination. I was sick in a way where even standing up felt like a bad idea. Fever, body aches, heavy head, the whole thing. But I had reached the point where staying in bed was no longer helping, so I forced myself outside to go see a doctor. And of course, the weather decided to be dramatic. It was freezing, raining sideways, and every person in New York seemed to be fighting for the same 5 taxis. Traffic was barely moving. Everyone was soaked. Everyone was irritated. The whole city felt like it had personally chosen violence that day. Somehow, I managed to get a cab. I climbed in, half delirious, called my sister to let her know I was alive, and headed to my appointment. When we finally pulled up to the doctor's office, I was ready to pay and crawl inside like a defeated Victorian child. That's when I noticed her. A woman with a bright yellow umbrella was standing outside the cab, already pointing at the driver like she had reserved him in advance. At first, I understood. This was New York. In bad weather, spotting an empty cab is basically a competitive sport. If you see one, you guard it like treasure. So I didn't care. I was getting out anyway. I tapped my card. Nothing happened. The payment screen froze. The driver sighed, told me to remove the card, and said he had to reset the machine. Meanwhile, Yellow Umbrella Lady was getting closer. She was hovering by my door, staring through the window, clearly ready to jump in the second I moved. Fine. Still normal. A little intense, but normal. The machine restarted. I tried my card again. Still waiting. My sister was still on the phone asking if I made it safely, and I was trying to answer her while also watching this tiny payment screen decide whether it wanted to participate in society. Then I heard yelling. At first, I thought she was yelling at the driver. Nope. She was yelling at me. Get out already. Get off the phone. Hurry up. Now remember. I am sick. Damp. Feverish. And literally trapped inside this cab by a broken payment machine. I cannot leave until the fare is paid. I am not sitting there for fun. I am not enjoying the luxury taxi spa experience. I am trying to pay and go cough in a medical office like a responsible adult. But Yellow Umbrella Lady had decided I was personally ruining her life. Finally, the payment went through. I grabbed my bag, reached for the door, and prepared to step out into the freezing rain. Before I could even open it myself, she grabbed the outside handle and yanked the door open as hard as she could. My hand was already on the handle, so the force pulled me sideways, half out of the cab and straight into the rain. For one full second, I just froze. I was sick. I was tired. I was wet. And now a stranger was screaming at me like I had stolen her birthright. Something in my brain clicked. I slowly sat back upright, pulled myself fully back into the cab, and looked at the driver. I said, actually, new destination. The driver blinked. Where? I said, anywhere, around the block. I'm not getting out while she's acting like this. Yellow Umbrella Lady went silent. Beautifully silent. The kind of silence that happens when someone's brain has to restart. The driver looked at me. Looked at her. Then gave this tiny smile. And turned the meter back on. The cab pulled away. And there she was, standing in the rain, holding her yellow umbrella, watching the taxi she thought she had claimed drive off with me still inside it. I have never felt more alive while being that close to needing antibiotics. We went around the block. When we came back near the same spot, she was still there. Still angry. Still wet. Still trying to flag down another cab in the middle of complete traffic chaos. The driver started laughing and told me she had been yelling at him too while I was trying to pay. So apparently, he was more than happy not to pick her up. At that point, we were both laughing. I was still sick. Still late. And still going to the doctor. But now the whole thing felt like a tiny, ridiculous New York adventure. Eventually, I did go to my appointment. I tipped the driver extra for participating in my petty little act of justice.